People have talked about it, and INEC, yes, they've spoken about the challenge they have with logistics. And then there's also that part of ad hoc staff. But this part where you buy generators for them?
That is the truth. Many people, look, in my polling unit, you know I'm also involved in politics. And it's about canvassing for votes. It's about making sure our members get their voters' cards. It's about mobilizing people. We go out to mobilize people. We do the education. Flyers, posters, personal touch. In my units, Maryland Housing Estates, INEC did not. If you are bringing ad hoc staff, would you stand? Please ask, did INEC ever provide tables and chairs for them? They never did. We have to do that. When they brought their registration machines, which we hear where is hot, is to make sure there is a flow. We have to get it past my neighbor. In some cases, some bought fans because they said the tea also gets very hot. I even know a place where somebody brought an AC. And they just put the machine right in front of it, open air. These are realities and the truth. I am sure all parties across board do this for INEC. So what logistics? Wow. So you now want to bring card readers. If you're ever going to bring card readers, are those card readers in the country yet? Are they being test run already? What is the battery life of these things? Why are they going to be powered? Look, for the purpose of this election, if I'm to advise INEC, you did not use card readers in Ekiti. You did not use card readers in Osun. Please, let us use our cards from 2011.
Is it not going to be too late? Because they've said if you don't have your permanent voter card, you won't vote.
Look, then you are planning to disenfranchise over half the populace from voting. Because you on your part, before you can say that, you must be ready. You are not ready.
But the chairman says from this comment again, says, drawing from the lessons of 2011 elections, quote, we have been able to fine-tune the integrity of elections conducted in Nigeria, especially for 2015. We've done a lot of training and retraining for our staff and ad hoc staff.
Yes.
And then he says that they are on course.
On course, where is the voting instrument? This is what entitles you to vote. I don't know what is happening in Rivers, but I'm sure what is happening in Lagos is happening across all the states. We read the papers. Everybody is complaining.
Well,
at least in Lagos, in Ikeja, where I practice, I know INEC is not ready. I know not up to 20% of the populace have their voting instruments, which is this card.
But the thing is this, as you rightly said, yes, the card readers are not used in Ekiti and Osun, but the permanent voters' cards were used.
Yes.
They did come out with that same policy as at that time, and then it sent a message to everyone that most likely everyone will have to use the permanent voters' card. Don't you think that the electorate also bear a duty? Are we also taking it upon ourselves? Are we just waiting for INEC to, do the voter education? Are we asking enough questions, or are we doing what we ought to do to ensure that we get our permanent voters cards, come 2015?
But that's what I've said so far. Education. It's even the populace that is educating, not INEC. So we've taken on their responsibility wholly. I've given you instances. All candidates, all parties are the ones doing the education. Permanent voters card. I don't know which is the local government headquarters to where we are now. I am almost certain that if you go to the INEC office in Ikeja local government, which perhaps is the closest to where we are, if you go there and ask, you'll be amazed at what you hear. And it's complaints galore. That's why I said, I do not know where the INEC chairman gets his own information from. Because he's obviously not being told the truth. Of course, his aides will tell him what is happening across their states, collate and tell him what they want him to hear. That's what, because we are talking now as a voter, as a stakeholder, as one who is involved in politics. I'm wearing different caps. And if they are listening, they should, look, I'm sure your next guest, your fourth, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 10th guests across the 36 states will say exactly the same thing.
Okay, Mr. Ogala, while we're talking about INEC being prepared, how prepared are the politicians for these next elections?
You can be sure the campaigns are on. It's INEC we are waiting for. Today is the last day for submission of nomination, I think, for assembly and gubernatorial.
Yeah.
The presidential, I'm sure most of them are on the campaign trail. Somebody was in Mina a couple of days ago to campaign to his father. Some people are already on the streets doing stomping from Bolisela to Okada to BRT, campaign all over the place. The campaigns are on. I can tell you for free, the parties and candidates are ready, they are mobilizing. Okay. And anyway, you don't need to tell any party to be ready.
Okay.
Any party that is not ready for the elections, then is not planning to win.
Now that they've already moved out, I mean, a former minister in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Bolaji Akim,
yes,
wrote a letter to politicians, particularly the presidential candidates of the two leading political parties, about the statements they make and a kind of bond, a peace bond, to ensure that there's no post-election violence. What do you take of that letter?
Well, you see, for me, I tend to agree with Professor Bolaji Akim, though the letter is itself not practical in my opinion.
Why is it not practical?
Asking people, you cannot, if a thief is a thief, you tell him to sign an agreement that he won't steal. That doesn't stop him from stealing. It's the orientation that has to change. It's the orientation.
The orientation of who? The presidential candidates or their supporters?
Or the electorate?
The populace itself. Look, if somebody says go to violence and you're able to tell me, you are saying, oh, is your son going to join us? It's more of the populace. Because you say people instigate you. Look, if INEC does it right, there won't be any elect. There can't be violence. Look, it's like somebody comes to steal from you and you fight him back. Somebody says, listen,
I don't know if others will agree with you. If INEC does it right, there won't be any violence.
I don't perceive any violence.
Even with the utterances that have been made by some politicians?
I don't know which politicians have made utterances, but I've heard somebody say if President Jonathan does not win, if he loses, he's not saying if he's rigged. If he loses, he will first attack the Southwest and move to... That man is walking the straight street. We've heard several of such comments. That if somebody is not returned back to office, will make the country ungovernable. Look, for me, I situate it as the weakness of the presidency.
No, but the DSS yesterday has issued a statement now saying, look,
whoever
makes any of those comments
I'm not interested.
They will face the wrath of the law.
I am not interested in issuing threats and warnings.
No, the law will kick in.
The law is clear. Why do you have to remind us that the law will kick in?
So you think it should kick in?
It
doesn't matter.
If what the DSS did in Ekiti, did in Osun, with all the threats and empty threats, mask and all of that, arresting public secretary of parties for loitering, as they said. And, I mean, Marinoga said, public secretary of a party that was an election, was loitering on a day before the election. If he was loitering, prosecute. Marinoga came on TV here to tell us that a certain party attempted to bribe their staff, they rejected the money. What did you do to prosecute those who offered bribe? Look, enough of the empty threats from DSS. Let DSS do what has to be done, no matter whose ox is God. If anybody makes a statement, and you can situate it as having run foul of the law, pick him up. Somebody had said they will if somebody loses, he will attack the Southwest. He's walking the street free. He will issue fresh threats tomorrow.
Yeah, but we also
know that I don't think
they will run a parallel government.
Oh, parallel governments are allowed all over the world.
And that will not allow
parallel governments. I think we should be
that
careful.
They will not go to court.
Maybe our long period of military rule. We are still here to get over this military mentality. What is a parallel and a shadow government? What does it mean? If I say I'm going to run a parallel government, are you going to vote me? Are you going to swear me into office? Am I going to occupy the office of the president? If they say I'm the shadow minister of information, does it mean I'm going to straight in the Ministry of Information? I think we should be careful and not play with words that have no meaning. If I tell you, I sit down here now and I say, look, by May 29, I, Babatunde Ogala, will be sworn in as President of the Federal Republic and sit in Aso Rock. How does that translate to a reality?
Yeah, but if the authority is doing it against the law, then they will move in.
We should face things that are of substance and stop chasing shadows. If somebody says, I would instigate violence, if APC says that, please arrest whoever says that. And prosecute him in accordance with the law.
Okay.
Not chasing shadows and be issuing empty threats that DSS has continuously issued. And 2 days to the election,
I guess we'll find out if they are
comes
empty.
to intimidate the citizen, shooting in the air, wearing masks. How do you think people will take you seriously and respect you?
I guess the
DSS
country
itself is so compromised.
The country will wait and see if they are empty. Maybe if any other person makes any of such statements. So who knows?
Prosecute
they might
them.
just face the wrath.
Prosecute them.
Let them out.
I mean,
it's rule of law in this country.
Exactly the point.
Not rule of force.
Exactly the point. Not continue empty threats.
Thank you for coming on. Babatunde Ogala is a legal practitioner, former member, Lagos State House of Assembly. We're speaking about the preparedness or readiness of the Independent National Electoral Commission. He thinks, from what he's seen, they're not ready. But we'll be back and take a look at other issues, or the perspectives actually, on this program. So join us again.